We have some massive news on day one of NFL free agency as the San Francisco 49ers have made a huge splash, signing one of the premier defensive players on the free agency market in former Philadelphia Eagle Javon Hargrave. San Francisco signing him to a huge contract to bolster the interior of this defensive line, and it cannot be said enough that San Francisco, heading into this offseason, needed to make upgrades at defensive tackle, and with the signing of Javon Hargrave, they're able to do just that. Adam Schefter breaking the news just moments ago, and that's why we're talking about it live on the San Francisco 49ers Report, that former Eagles defensive tackle Javon Hargrave has reached an agreement on a massive 4-year, $84 million contract, which includes $40 million guaranteed at signing with the Niners. The deal negotiated by his power agent, Drew Rosenhaus, as well as Ryan Matha. Now, we're going to talk about that, but first, today's show is presented by Roan. Javon Hargrave is going to look fresh in that Niners uniform. I'm looking fresh in the Roan commuter shirt. And their commuter collection, it'll add a lot to your wardrobe. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention. Roan stepped up to the challenge. Their commuter collection, the most comfortable, breathable, flexible set of products known to man. It helps you get ready for any occasion. The commuter collection features the world's most comfortable dress pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos, and you never have to worry about what to wear. We've all run into that situation where we look at our closet prior to going to work and we're like, what should I wear today? With the commuter collection, you don't have to worry about that. You'll look good, you'll feel good as well, because Roan has comfortable 4-way stretch fabric that provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy work, host shows at Chat Sports, 18 holes of golf for a night out on the town, and have fun like Trizzy and I do here in Dallas. It's time to feel confident without the hassle, and with the wrinkle release technology, wrinkles also disappear on these shirts as you wear the products, and you don't have to worry about dry cleaning costs any longer. So, the deal for the Niner gang here in free agency, 20% off site-wide by heading to roan.com/chatsports. Use the promo code chatsports to save 20% off. That's RHONE.com/chatsports, promo code chatsports. So really, my overall thoughts about this move for San Francisco, this is massive, literally and figuratively. Not only is Javon Hargrave a massive dude, this is a huge need and acquisition for this football team as they try to get on that quest for 6, try to bring home another Lombardi trophy, and finally get over the hump. And a reason they weren't able to do that last year is partially because the interior of this defensive line was not good. Against the Dallas Cowboys, against the Philadelphia Eagles, they got pushed around. And that's why throughout this entire offseason, I've been talking about the Niners needing to add a premier player or at least depth on the interior defensive line at defensive tackle. And there's no other way to put it that Javon Hargrave is elite. Now, he is 30 years old, so $40 million in guaranteed money, it's certainly a lot for him. But he's been trending in the right direction over the last couple of years, and he's coming off a career season. Career high in sacks with 11, 57 total pressures, 40 quarterback hurries, 10 tackles for loss. We talked about him several weeks ago. We talked about Daron Payne. And after Daron Payne got his contract, which allows him to make $22.5 million per year, Hargrave comes in, it's 4 years, $84 million. A look at his Pro Football Focus grades and overall what he was able to bring, one of the best defenses for Philadelphia last year in the NFL. Pass rushing grade of 90.8. What this also allows you to do, Nick Bosa can't be double teamed. Your defensive tackle pairing, if you don't get rid of Eric Armstead, could be Hargrave as well as Eric Armstead. And then you have to figure out the other edge rusher spot. But Hargrave gets added to a defense with the reigning defensive player of the year in Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Fred Warner, Talanoa Hufanga, Charvarius Mooney-Ward with Steve Wilkes calling the shots. Overall grade of 78.2. He's not great against the run, a little bit of a concern, but that's why you bring in and you have on this roster some run-stopping defensive tackles. Can Kalia Davis make that leap? Do you bring back Hassan Ridgeway? They fill that category. Pass rushing premium player is what Hargrave is, with 57 total pressures and 40 quarterback hurries last year. If you think about the best pass rushing defensive tackles in the sport, it's Javon Hargrave up there with Aaron Donald as well as Chris Jones. some of the best players at that position. And in today's offensive-laden era in which teams are airing out the football, a lot of teams are paying big price tags to pass rushing defensive tackles. Back in the day, defensive tackles were not asked to get after the quarterback. That has changed with the evolution of football. So today's poll question is this right here. Grade the signing of Javon Hargrave to the San Francisco 49ers, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down in the comment section. Of course, this is a big deal with a lot of implications for San Francisco, but it's also a win for the Niners because they take away a great player away from a team who the Niners figure to be battling head-to-head for one of the top seeds in the NFC. And this is an Eagles defense last year that now loses a lot of sack production with Javon Hargrave out of the equation. They still have Hassan Reddick. They still have Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Fletcher Cox, also a free agent for Philadelphia, but they'll certainly miss those 11 sacks. As for the Niners, this is also big because you see the drop-off from a year ago in 2022 of sack production. Nick Bosa won Defensive Player of the Year. He's the best pure edge rusher in the NFL. He's improved against the ground game. But after that, big drop-off to Samson Ebukam, who could get paid in free agency, who had 5 sacks last year. Charles Omenihu can play edge as well as defensive tackle. He could cash in. Drake Jackson needs to have a big year, especially now because San Francisco might not be able to afford another good edge rusher opposite of Bosa because they signed Hargrave. So Jackson needs to sustain his success, and that's what he did not do as a rookie because Kyle Shanahan said he got a little bit tired, and then Kevin Givens with the 2 sacks. Hargrave on this defensive line, it's dangerous. It could be game-wrecking. Also in this scheme where the Niners like to run that 4-man front, sometimes a wide 9, it allows players to pin their ears back and attack the quarterback. And that's what Hargrave does well. And you put him on this line with Bosa, look out. As for what this means for Hargrave, well, who cares? He's on the San Francisco 49ers team, and I don't care about his usage. If he has to take over for Javon Kinlaw, that's fine at the end of the day. If you got to cut Javon Kinlaw, that is fine as well. You have Hargrave, a premium player in the free agency market, and this is a huge boost to this Niners defense. Before we continue to keep it moving, Mike McGlinchey getting paid, Jimmy Garoppolo to the Las Vegas Raiders. This is why you subscribe to the channel. This news was made official. We went live in about 40 minutes. Whenever the Niners make a move or lose a player, you can count on us to keep you in the know. Free agency buzz, prospect analysis with the NFL draft, breaking news coverage. They're all our specialties. Let's get to 80,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Ian Rappaport with this on Mike McGlinchey. I told you all offseason that teams are going to be in the need of a good right tackle. Mike McGlinchey, one of the best free agent right tackles, he was going to get paid at least $15 million per year. He's getting more than that from the Denver Broncos. 5-year deal, $87.5 million with $50 million guaranteed. No way, no how with San Francisco going to afford that. McGlinchey, pretty solid in 2022. He's probably a top 10 to 12 tackle in this league, and tackles are really difficult to find. That's why he's getting this bag. 1,000 plus snaps last year, 561 pass blocking snaps, 10 penalties, 6 sacks allowed, 3 hits allowed, 27 total pressures. I told you, McGlinchey, he was going to get a handsome payday. I said north of 15 mil, and the average annual value of this contract, $17.5 million. Now, a lot of you might be happy that McGlinchey is leaving. You can let me know, will you miss him? Why for yes and for no? But tread lightly here. This is a little bit of a concern for San Francisco. So you could pop up that poll question because the Niners, they need better offensive line play. They could not afford a Mike McGlinchey. But the big question now is, who replaces him at right tackle? Is it going to be Colton McKivitz? Is it going to be Nick Zakelj? Those aren't good options. Could it be a middle-of-the-road type like Riley Reif? Niners have to fill that void of losing Mike McGlinchey at right tackle because that offensive line was not good last year. Now, make sure you give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior because I'm going to be putting up videos of my analysis of some of these signings as soon as they happen. For instance, Hargrave going to be signing this deal with San Francisco. I took to Instagram with the graphic, a video take. I'm really trying to grow my Instagram profile. I'm already verified on Twitter. So if you could help me out and follow me on both at Chase_Senior, I would certainly appreciate that. As for Jimmy Garoppolo, that game against the Raiders last year was one of the most exciting regular season games that the Niners have had in recent memory. And now, I'll tell you what, this rivalry has taken another spin with Jimmy Garoppolo reuniting with his former offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels, who was his OC with the New England Patriots. That familiarity is why I've been tying Jimmy G to the Raiders all throughout this offseason. And why I've always said it makes sense is we've had this graphic in the canister, familiarity with McDaniels as well as the general manager in the front office because they have New England ties. The Raiders have a win-now roster, and if you make a move for Garoppolo in signing him, you're making it to win right now. You have Devontae Adams. You have Hunter Renfrow. You have Darren Waller. You have Max Crosby defensively. You have a win-now roster, and that was shown last year as Las Vegas blew 5 10-point leads. Well, what does Garoppolo do well? Wins a lot of games as he's won more than 70% of his starts, but he's not a guy who's going to put the offense on his back. He needs supporting weapons, and as I said, Garoppolo has that now in the Sin City, and he's a proven winner. This is an organization, this is a franchise that last year blew those multiple 10-point leads, the most in NFL history, but they have one playoff win and one playoff appearance over the last 2+ decades, going all the way back to when Rich Gannon won an MVP in the early 2000s. This is an organization that has been starred for a winner at that quarterback spot. Derek Carr, pretty solid. Jimmy Garoppolo, though, I might rather have him on my football team, and now Garoppolo goes to the Raiders and makes them a very interesting team. As for the contractual details and more the familiarity here, the initial reports is that Garoppolo going to get about $22.5 million per year. Garoppolo with this just a little while ago that the Raiders closing in on a deal with Jimmy G. Sources say after 6 seasons, Super Bowl appearance with the Niners, Jimmy G on his way to Vegas, the site of this season's Super Bowl, to reunite with Josh McDaniels. And here are the official details here that just came in. Good job by producer Trizzy Trace for popping this up here. Garoppolo to the Raiders. Going to be a 3-year, $67.5 million contract worth $34 million in guaranteed money. So his tenure in San Francisco comes to an end. It was a successful one. When he was traded to the Niners from New England back in 2017, that was coming off the Chip Kelly, Jim Tomsula days. Kyle Shanahan had just started his regime. The Niners had been dog shit for a really long time. Garoppolo helped really turn the ship around. Now they make that trade in 2017, tears his ACL in 2018, so that season was lost as well. But in 2019, #1 seed in the NFC, couple of epic playoff games at Levi's Stadium. They make it to the Super Bowl. They had that double-digit lead against the Chiefs going into the fourth quarter. I'm sorry I have to remind you, but Jimmy Garoppolo was a part of a lot of winning seasons, a lot of winning moments, a lot of frustrating moments as well. But he goes down as having a very successful career. He was clutch in a lot of moments, a Super Bowl appearance, a couple of more NFC Championship games, and now his Niners tenure has come to a close. Hey, folks, happy free agency. This is day one. You think it's crazy right now? Just wait. Spam those 4 9s down in the chat, and as always, we appreciate all of you for watching.